What about with Fleming? You know, Oak Hill guy now. What do you like about him, and what can he do for you in the future?
Versatile, can put on the deck, can make plays for other people. Athletic enough to play, you know, the small forward position. Scores the ball well. He's a really good player. We're excited about him.
Does he remind you a little bit of Matt Gatens in some respects?
You know, thinking back, you know, trying to compare him, I didn't recruit Matt obviously at that time and see him that much at that age. I hope he becomes like Matt Gatens, because I mean that's one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. I do think he has some of those qualities. I think that's a fair comparison.
Overall, what do you get from this class? Do you feel like it's a large class?
I can only talk about two, so I can only talk about the two guys.
Not specifically, but just in general, the four guys you will get.
Well, you know, with Wagner and with Fleming, you know, I just talked about it. I can't go any further than that. You know, obviously when you go after a particular recruiting class, you're looking for certain things, and we feel like we got it.
And you'll hold one to the spring, or will you float that into 15 or 16?
Yeah, it could go either way on that. Yeah, you know, it depends on who's available in the spring. You know, especially now with, there just seems to be an extraordinary amount of transfers every year. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. I don't see that trend changing. So there might be somebody out there that we want. There are some who sign late. So we'll see.
Is there something you guys can do as coaches, or anything to stop the transfer issue that seems to build each year?
Doesn't seem like it. You know, seems like if anything, it's going the other way. Yeah, I mean, you see some uncomfortable transfer situations, and you see some. I think most people would want an athlete to be able to play wherever they want to play, within reason. You know, and unfortunately, sometimes there's tampering involved, and in those cases, I think most people would say, you know, if there's tampering involved, then he shouldn't be allowed to move. But you know, I still think we'll have, you know, make you sit out a year. And I would like to see that be across the board. I think if anything, if there's going to be a lot more transferring, I think guys should have to sit out. With regard to the fifth-year transfer rule, I've said publicly many times it's the most ridiculous rule in sport, and those should not be allowed to do that.
Were you targeting forward because of who you lost last year, and then who you're going to lose after this year?
You mean with the last one, or just in general?
Well, in general.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we lost, you know, Basavi, McCabe, you know, there was Olashani and White. We need some size. So, you know, we've got, I think, quality. You know, we've got some size. We've got versatility. You know, we'll need a little more size.
Without speaking specifically about the two other kids, how important is it to get into Chicago for your recruiting, and do you think that's laying the groundwork?
I think more is made of that kind of stuff than it should be, quite frankly. You know, we've been into Chicago. We've been well received in Chicago. We've got great contacts there. You're right. It's loaded with talent across the board. You know, it's a big city. You know, you can go into the city, you can go to the suburbs, and there's players everywhere. We won't be there. You know, does it help you that you get some guys? Well, it's certainly, because they're going to speak positively about their experience, and other guys, you know, may come. But you know, there's a lot of competition in Chicago too. A lot of people are coming to Chicago. So what you can't do is, you know, get overly consumed with going into an area. You got to address your needs that you have in recruiting. And in a particular year, be better served somewhere else. It's no reflection on Chicago. It's a matter of, you know, can we go into Chicago and get the guys we want, you know, in any given year? You can't guarantee that, you know, in any major city. You know, I've been recruiting Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, LA, you know, for years. You know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. but we're gonna keep going back in there because we need to. There's excellent coaches, there's excellent players, and I think, you know, typically those kids wanna play in the Big Ten. You know, some will leave, some have left, but by and large, they wanna play in the Big Ten, you know, so it's important for us to be in there.